Hey there, this is Joel Gardner with Consolidated Planning and myintelligentretirement.com. And today we're going to be examining the question of how much money can I plan to spend in retirement? We're going to do this by looking at the four main methodologies for creating retirement spending. And those are interest only, total returns, amortization of an asset, and annuitization of an asset. So before we dive into the first methodology, let me give you a bit of a backdrop for the folks in the conversation that we're going to have today. So our Mr. and Mrs. Retirement, creatively named, are a 55-year-old couple, and we're going to be looking 10 years into the future. So I'll show you that in 1 second. But to this point, they are earning close to $300,000 and they're saving $40,000 of income. So we're going to show them continuing to do that for the next 10 years. And to this point, they have accrued about $2.7 million of assets, but 1.7 million of retirement accounts, 90,000 in investments, and 120,000 in savings. The rest is real estate in their personal residence, which we're not going to really account for. And so if we go out into the future here, we can see that their current assets at a conservative growth rates have accumulated to $3.9 million of gross assets. And so 3.9 million is going to be the number that we're looking at in each of the methodologies. A couple more variables to talk about, and these will be held steady for all four methodologies. We're going to look at a 30% effective tax rate, federal, state, local, everything. We're going to look at a 30-year timeline from 10 years from now. We're going to be looking at income numbers for each of these methodologies, and those income numbers are going to be netted down for that 30% tax rate. And we're going to be talking about, when we talk about inflation, we're just applying a 3% inflation rate. So for each of the methodologies, we're going to look at them at the backdrop of concerns that people have in retirement and talk about how each of the methodologies kind of applies and doesn't apply and deal with each of the concerns. So those things that we're going to look at is mortality or living too long, the risk of being injured or sick along the way and what that can do to their assets, the volatility of the market, the tax treatment of their assets, and like I mentioned, inflation. So four methodologies that we're going to look at. One bonus that I threw in for those who stay on to keep you awake. And let's go ahead and dive in.